We now know where the 2026 Adaptive and Age Group CrossFit Games is going to be.
The divisional athletes are returning to the CrossFit Games.
What? Live from San Jose, California, it's the CrossFit Divisional Games. From July 21st to July 26th, the Masters, teams, and adaptive athletes will once again be joining the individuals and teams games qualifiers.
The timing on that whole thing by Chase, very impressive. I definitely enjoyed that part of the Sport of Fitness podcast. If you haven't checked it out, the whole episode is about the Adaptive and Age Group Games going to the same location as the CrossFit Games. This is something we used to see all the time. This is how it was in Madison, how it was in Carson. When it moved to Fort Worth in 2024, that's when we saw the CrossFit Games, the individuals and the teams break away from the rest of the different divisions. And now for the 20th CrossFit Games, they are bringing it all back together, kind of. So the age groups, except for the teenagers, will mostly be happening before the CrossFit Games begins. So that is the Masters. That'll be going on July 21st through 23rd, and it will be at a different location. So that'll be happening at the San Jose Convention Center, which is not very far from the SAP Center. It's about a mile. You can see this map here. So it is walking distance, kind of a long walk, but most people going are CrossFitters. I mean, we can walk a mile. It's not very far. You could take an Uber, you could take a Lime scooter. There's other ways to get there. You could get there pretty easily from the SAP Center if you are getting a hotel room near the SAP Center. And this again is how it was in Madison and in Carson, that the age groups would be a little bit before the individuals. Sometimes it would overlap for some of the days, but usually started a little bit beforehand. So if people get there early, they can see this event as well. Then the Teenage CrossFit Games, that's the 24th to 26th, same days as the CrossFit Games, which will be interesting to see how they have both of those events. So I was editing this and noticed a little bit of inconsistency in information. I just wanted to give my thoughts and just point it out in case anyone else noticed it. So Barbell Spin has the Teenage Games listed as being happening at the SAP Center. And then on the CrossFit Games website, it has all the divisions at the Convention Center. I do believe all the divisions are at the Convention Center, although Brian is usually very well informed. So maybe he knows something that I don't know. But listening to the woman who spoke during the podcast, she made it sound like they're doing the Masters. Then she says they're switching gears to the Adaptive and the Teenagers that'll run concurrent with the CrossFit Games down the road. So it makes it sound like those things are happening at the Convention Center and then down the road the games are happening with the individuals and the teams only. But I will put that little clip after this so that you guys can all make your own thoughts and opinions on it.
July 21, 22, 23. That's going to be the Masters CrossFit Games by Legends.
Okay.
So that event will be at the San Jose Convention Center. Right down the road from SAP. Going to be awesome. And then we're going to switch gears and we're going to have Wheelwad, the Adaptive CrossFit Games, and the Teenage CrossFit Games by Pitt. Those games will be held the 24th, 25th, and 26th, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, concurrent with the individual and team games going on at SAP Center down the road.
Also, while I was watching the podcast, they brought on somebody from CrossFit who spoke a little bit about how they are trying to make it more of a festival feel, like we had in Madison, like it was also in Carson. Carson was a little bit different than Madison because you didn't have the RV park, but it was more similar, that it was a festival feel, that people were hanging out all day at Vendor Village, just chilling in between events. And you pretty much went to the CrossFit Games in the morning, anticipating to be there until well after nightfall. I do really think that this is the move. I think that this exposes the Masters division, the Adaptive division, the teens, all of those groups to more people. I do understand the idea that they had possibly by breaking it up. Could be that there's just more focus on these individual athletes, where when they were with the individuals and the teams, they are a little bit of a secondary thought. People go to the CrossFit Games usually to see the biggest names, which tend to be the elite individuals. But it brought a lot more eyes to all these other divisions. When the events were separate, they were happening throughout the summer at different locations, and it would be hard to get the same people to go to all 3 events or 4 events. Like, there was an adaptive event, the teens were somewhere different, and the masters were somewhere different. That's just a lot of time off of work, travel for a lot of CrossFit fans to do. It's not realistic for most people to go to 4 different events in the span of 4 or 5 weeks. It just really isn't. So, like you would expect, the individuals and teams got the most attention because they have the biggest name athletes. And then all these divisional games had a lot less people attending them. Sure, a ton of people came that were loved ones and friends of the people competing, but you didn't see as many just fans going unless they lived in the area, because it's a lot to ask of people. But to ask of people to take off one weekend or 1 week to go to the Super Bowl of CrossFit, where you'll see all of these things, much easier. It gets much more eyes on the incredible things that the adaptive athletes are doing. It gets so many more eyes on the age group athletes, which hopefully we all are at some point. If you're not already in the age group division, oh my gosh. Intermission. Like I was saying, if you're not already an age group athlete, which the majority of the people who do the CrossFit Games are, they are in the age groups. So if you're not already an age group athlete, we all hope to be there one day. And it is incredible to see the amount of fitness all of these age group athletes still have and are continuing to gain year after year while they're gaining more years of wisdom. So getting the opportunity to see all these things in the same place, I think it's a huge win. I think it's going to spotlight so many more athletes. I think it's better for the fans. I think it's a win all around. And I think more people now should consider getting there a little bit earlier to check out some of those masters athletes and really enjoy the full spectrum of what the CrossFit Games has to offer, because it is a lot. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different types of people that you could see at the CrossFit Games. And this year, you're gonna be able to see it all in one place again in San Jose, California, beginning on July 21st and going through July 26th. I'm just really excited for the games to be back in California, where it started, not far from Aromas. Again, I'm still predicting that there's going to be an event at the ranch. I have no actual knowledge of this, I will admit that. I haven't heard from anybody that it is something that is going to happen, but it is just so close to San Jose. It would be such an easy bus ride to get the elite individuals down there. And I just think it's going to be the elite individuals. I don't really think the teams are going to make the trip. It's just a lot of athletes to get over there, and it's not that big of a facility. But I think the elite individuals will be doing something in Aromas. I don't know that though. That's just a prediction. Speaking about busing there, that made me think again about these 2 separate arenas, and I sort of have conflicting thoughts on this. So part of me is like, maybe they need a little shuttle to take people to and from the 2 separate arenas so that you could watch both of the things. But then when I do think back to Madison, and I went to Madison in 17, 18, 21, 22, and 23. So I went to Madison quite a few years. I believe those are all the years. I should double check that I'm not getting confused. But there was quite a few years in Madison. I was there quite a bit of them. And there was a lot of walking. The arenas, although on the same facility, you walked a ton between things. So maybe this like 0.8 tenths of a mile is not a lot to ask people, but possibly having a shuttle that takes people there, I don't know, a couple times a day, maybe not running a whole ton, but just a few times, could maybe get more people to watch the divisional games, because it isn't like right there, and I'm sure the little bit of a walk will dissuade some people and make them feel a little bit disjointed, that maybe having something to get people there occasionally could help. But like I said, conflicted, because I think back to when I was in Madison, I did so much walking around that facility. It wasn't that small. It was all one space, which was really cool, versus like in a downtown, but it was not that close. Let me know in the comments below what you think about CrossFit bringing this all back together again, if you preferred having different events on different weekends. It does give us more stuff to watch over a more period of time, but I think it just brings so many more eyes when you have it all together, and you get to be exposed to things that you weren't anticipating. You get to become fans of new athletes that you weren't initially going there for, but you got to watch them do some events and you're like, dang, that's really cool. I appreciate you all for watching. Subscribe if you're new here. Give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.